the Irish guy, and are you now all excited for the Premier League season? Are you all now squealing like pregnant bunny rabbits? Lads, today I'm going to take a look at every Premier League club and predict the one shocking thing that will happen to each team this season. One thing that nobody in their wildest dreams would envisage happening. But trust me, when these predictions actually happen at your club this season, then please tell me that you think that I'm cleverer than James Alcott. Did I really just say cleverer? And lads, for the naysayers out there who think that these are freakishly unlikely to happen, can I just remind you that today, Ronaldinho's son just signed for Burnley. That's like if Prince William's son grows up to work at Mackie D's. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Aaron Ramsdale will throw a strop. Remember when Cristiano Ronaldo sat down with Piers Morgan to absolutely chuck his Manchester United teammates and manager under a fat bus? Yeah, nobody was shocked to see a man with the ego of Kenya suddenly morph into the Joker of the Premier League. His villain arc was about as obvious as Anakin Skywalker. But who is going to be the next disgruntled model pro to utterly explode? I think Aaron Ramsdale is about to turn evil. Look, so far, this bloke has dealt with David Raya absolutely eating his Arsenal career with a spoon. He's dealt with it well. I mean, within a month of the Spaniards' arrival from Brentford, Ramsdale was literally clapping him on the bench, which, I'm sorry, that's a bit like seeing your wife out to dinner with that hunky Spanish gardener, and so you helpfully wipe ketchup off his chin. But I just think this is the season where Ramsdale's nice guy mask, it slips. We already know how the Ramsdale family truly think about his treatment by the club, with his dad angrily popping up in podcasts last season. But this time out, I reckon the Gunners end up blocking his move to a European giant in Ajax, and that will be too much for him to bear. It'll be something really messy, where this smiley, happy, Sesame Street-esque character, and mini Ben Foster, he'll have his bags packed for Amsterdam, only for Edu to pull the plug at the last minute. This is going to be messy. Like when Keylor Navas was literally sitting in a Spanish airport waiting for a flight to Manchester 9 years ago, probably devastated at being told to swap siestas with Ronaldo for a daily lunch with Ashley Young. I'm not saying Ramsdale is going to burst into Piers Morgan's office and tell the world that Arteta is the backbone of a straw. I don't think he's going to launch into a rant on the telly about how he'd love to sneak poison into a dude's bowl of shreddies, but just wait, we're going to get a cryptic, moody social media post from Ramsdale. It won't be anything crazy, but it'll be like what Sam Johnstone has done on social media this week. Just you wait, this is the season where nice guy Ramsdale finally snaps. A bit like Ned Flanders when a hurricane blew down his house. Aston Villa will thump Champions League giant. Lads, I do think Aston Villa will take a step backwards in the league. But don't worry, I am telling you now, this fan base is about to enjoy their greatest night for decades. Cause lads, the worst team a European giant can face is a Premier League side who are embarking on their first Champions League campaign for decades. Or ever. The newly qualified clubs are always so hungry and ready to just seize the moment. And that always leads to monster giant killings. I mean, in Tottenham's debut Champions League season, they thumped the reigning champions Inter Milan 3-1 at home. A year ago, newly qualified Newcastle smashed PSG 4-1 in their first home match. I mean, at Leeds United's first home match back in the Champions League in 2000, they were beating the great AC Milan, before then smashing Besiktas 6-0 at home, and were seconds away from beating Barcelona at Ellen Road as well. When these clubs launch themselves into the Champions League, the complete adrenaline swims through the fan base. These grounds are suddenly electric cauldrons, and that leads to these so-called European giants freezing. I mean, to be fair, it's a shame Leicester City were never really given any giants during their only Champions League season. Place with Club Brugge, FC Porto, Copenhagen, Sevilla, and Atletico Madrid. That screams of a Europa League run, not Champions League. I mean, I guess Atletico Madrid are pretty big, but I don't know, it's not that life-changing because Bolton and Fulham have played Atletico in Europe too. If Leicester were honest with themselves, they would have traded in that lukewarm group for Newcastle's Thunder of Death last season. But anyway, I don't know who are going to play the Champions League this season. Nobody does, but they are thumping a giant, I promise you. Something tells me it's going to be Real Madrid 4-0. Just you wait and watch. Bournemouth's top scorer won't have 10 plus goals. Is this that big a shock? Look, Dominic Solanke just batted in 19 goals for Bournemouth and challenged for the Golden Boot last time out. But now that he's gone to Spurs, there is going to be a huge drop off in goals, but relax. I think Antony is just going to subtly tweak things and suddenly the goals will be shared across the team. I mean, lads, the season before last, Bournemouth's top scorer was Philip Billing with 7 from midfield. I reckon it'll be more of the same. I reckon the Cherries' top scorer this season will be Marcus Tavernier with 8 from the wing. That's it. Brentford will lose a game 7-0. Look, this seems like a completely bananas prediction because whilst Bournemouth did concede 4 goals in 4 different Premier League games last season, Thomas Frank's boys haven't actually conceded 5 in a match since a trip to Newcastle nearly 2 years ago. So where am I getting this revolting 7-0 prediction from? Lads, I just think that when teams get too comfortable with mid-table mediocrity, they can take their eye off the ball, and a lack of ambition can get them harshly slapped. I feel like boring old Southampton under Ralph Hasenhüttl, consistently collecting 9-0 defeats as if they were Pokemon cards. Sorry, Brentford, but just watch. You're going to get painfully battered. Brighton. Jorginho Rutter will not score a single goal. Lads, we are about to witness one of the worst transfers in Premier League history. Look, I know that Jorginho Rutter was a Leeds United fan favourite, and I know that this 22-year-old French forward is a talent. But now, Brighton are bringing him in for a ludicrous £40 million. And this guy, he can either play as a centre forward, which he did in the first half of last season in the Championship, or he can play as a second striker. Lads, Brighton already have both positions filled. João Pedro is also a flexible forward who can play either of those roles. And then there's Evan Ferguson, Danny Welbeck, and even young Marco Mahoney, who are traditional out-and-out number 9. So I reckon Rutter is going to be an absolutely, utterly stinking flop. He will score 0 goals. And I know Leeds fans will think that I've got turkey brains. But let me ask you, when was the last time Leeds United sold a top player and they turned out to be as good as Leeds fans said they were? Luis Sinisterra, Tyler Adams, Rafinha, Calvin Phillips, Kemar Roof, Jack Clark, Ronaldo Vieira mostly turned out to be either inconsistent or injury-prone muffins. The last time Leeds sold a star player who proved to be a roaring success elsewhere was Chris Wood at Burnley 7 years ago. Sorry lads, but Rutter is going to be absolutely burnt ready Breck. Chelsea will be in relegation zone after Halloween. Yeah, Chelsea are in for a nightmare season. Remember that embarrassing, horrible start to the 15-16 campaign where the reigning champions were flirting with the relegation zone under the great Okay, I really don't. Can I say his name now? I really want to say his name. Well, yeah. Enzo Maresca is going to be every Chelsea flop manager combined. It's going to be like watching a cross between Andre Villas-Boas and Humpty Dumpty himself. This former Parma failure is going to struggle to command respect amongst this heavily bloated squad. I mean, come on lads. He's just given the vice captaincy to Enzo Fernandez. You reckon Maresca is getting invited to any French barbecues? Both Enzos are probably gonna have to sit together in the canteen, silently eating their lonely yogurts in the corner after being kicked out of every other WhatsApp group chat. I reckon Chelsea are gonna have a completely dreadful season. His tactics will be ripped apart as if they're made from scrambled egg. Maresca is going to be proof that just because you once worked alongside Pep doesn't mean you've been immediately blessed by his genius. Crystal Palace, Jean-Philippe Mateta will go 10 games without a goal. Lads, I already know that if we put up the Fantasy League databases, a sizable chunk of naive football fans will have selected Jean-Philippe Mateta this summer after ending last season on an absolute fire. 13 goals in his final 13 Premier League matches. We haven't seen that sort of crazy red-hot form from a Crystal Palace striker since Christian Benteke's debut campaign nearly a decade ago. I can see that Mateta's form, which actually elevated him into Thierry Henry's France team for the Olympics, I can see that was just a rare purple patch. We have seen this from mid-table strikers all the time. What this reminds me of is Papi Cisse, who hustled everyone. He joined Newcastle from Freiburg in January 2012, and he then morphs into the African Adriano. Like Mateta, scoring 13 goals in his final 14 Premier League matches. He scored 4 braces in the second half of that season. The Senegalese striker was even belting in a Puskas Award contender at Stamford Bridge. I was thinking he was a mini Drogba, a world-class finisher. And what happened next season then? He didn't score in his first 7 games, and was then dropped for the most important game of the season, a trip to Sunderland. By Christmas, he'd scored two goals. So similarly, we have seen this before. Mateta has not just matured into being peak Shevchenko at 27. Nonsense. He's going to go on a 10-game goal drought this season, reverting back to looking like a plump teddy bear. Everton, Dele Alli will score a goal. Dele Alli does not feel like a footballer anymore. It seems wacky to think he's even that good as a park anymore because his contract actually ran out this summer and there was no news of a contract renewal, so he's only still at Everton because Sean Dyche is nice. So the idea of seeing him play a single Premier League game this season, that seems completely alien because I'm not sure he's even getting paid anymore. But you know what? I'm gonna say it. He turns 29 years old this season, so surely he has to shake off his injury at some point this season. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to tip him to score a goal. Why not? Fulham won't keep a clean sheet until Halloween. Look, I don't think Fulham will be trapped in a relegation quagmire or anything this season, but Marco Silva's team was never really set up to keep many clean sheets anyway. But now that they've lost their rock star defensive midfielder João Palhinha to Bayern Munich and their top centre-back Tosin Adarabioyo to Chelsea on a free, I think they will definitely concede more goals, and yeah, won't actually keep a clean sheet until after Halloween. Ouch! Ipswich Town will lose a match 9-0. Lads, Football heritage. Doesn't it feel like we are due an embarrassing 9-0 defeat? In all my time following football, I'd only ever seen a Premier League side score 9 once, when Tottenham thrashed Wigan in 2009. It was a massive rarity. But for a couple of years there, we were getting into the groove of having that stupendously mental scoreline served up to us on a semi-regular basis. In October 2019, February 2021, and August 2022. We are due another 9-0. And what better team to deliver to us than Ipswich, who'd already been on the receiving end of that at Old Trafford in 1995. I think they'll get another 9-0 slapping in Manchester, just from the other club this time. Leicester City, Jamie Vardy will not score a single goal. It seems incredibly disrespectful to tip a Premier League legend, someone in the 100 goal club, does not score a single goal all season. But lads, Jamie Vardy turns 38 this season. He is just a year younger than Wayne Rooney, who's probably eating pies in Plymouth as we speak. Vardy was finishing the Premier League last time when he scored just 3. This is going to be a really embarrassing season for him. He will become the latest member to fail to score in a single season after having joined the 100 goal club. I mean, this shouldn't be anything that shocking that I'm saying here. So many members of that 100 goal club have similarly disgraced themselves with goalless seasons after playing one campaign too many, like Andy Cole failing to score for Sunderland at a similar age in 2007. Or Robbie Fowler failing to score in his 3 Premier League matches for Blackburn when he was a bloated hunchback who stuck with donuts. Jermaine Defoe failed to score in his 4 Premier League games at Bournemouth during the 18-19 season. Peter Crouch didn't get a goal in Burnley colours either. Yeah, Vardy's just gonna be the same. Liverpool, Darwin Nunez will score less than 15. Everyone seems to think that Darwin Nunez will explode on Arne Slot and challenge for the Golden Boot this season. But why? I'm not saying that this 25-year-old Uruguayan striker is a hideous excuse for a centre-forward. He's not. But the truth is that he's nowhere near as good as everyone thought he was during his miraculous, freakish final season at Benfica, where he looked clinical to the extreme. 26 goals in 28 league matches was incredible. But so far, 20 goals in 65 Premier League matches. For all those who suddenly think he's going to come good and challenge for the Golden Boot, no. I think he'll just be the same as the last 2 seasons. And he'll fail to score 15 plus Premier League goals. Man City will lose at home. Manchester City have not lost a Premier League match at home since Brentford beat them in the final minute in November 2022. In fact, it seems like you have to sneak a last gasp winner at the Etihad, like Leeds United did before that, because if you give City any time on the clock to recover, oh, they will robotically snatch an equaliser. But yeah, go on, City will take their eye off the ball and shockingly lose at home to, let's say, Bournemouth. Man United, Antony will have a great season. This seems bizarre, I know, but am I the only one who suspects that Anthony Mateus dos Santos is going to explode this season? I mean, by the way, considering this bloke clearly wants to develop the image of looking cool, he really should have just gone with dos Santos on the back of his shirt. That gives off more of a Samba mini Ronaldinho vibe than, you know, just plopping a misspelled Anthony on the back. Lads, this 24-year-old winger has been completely awful. £85 million disaster buy from Ajax. But okay, I think his confidence has been well and truly stuffed at the bottom of a bin. But he has promised to be better than what he's shown. So he clearly hasn't given up on himself. There is so much to improve in his game. His end product is laughably hideous right now. But the man was given 10 Brazil caps in 2022. He started nearly every game for them on the right wing during the actual World Cup. There is something of a player in there. He's not just this completely incompetent, buffoonish Brazilian Jermaine Pennant that everyone wants him to be. I reckon this season, playing for a very Ajax team this season, I think he will cement a starting spot on the right wing and show massive improvement. I'll say 15 goals and 10 assists in all competitions, which would be one of the biggest turnarounds in Premier League history. Oh, come on. The man cost 100 million euros. I don't think Ten Hag is that much of a complete buffoon that he would sanction that ludicrous deal if he didn't believe there was some potential in this guy. In the same way Jack Grealish has been a 100 million pound flop, yes, but let's be real. He is better than what he's shown at Man City too. Something just tells me this guy is going to rescue his Man United career. Newcastle will win a trophy. There is something building at Newcastle United. Eddie Howe's side can beat anyone, and I mean anyone. Under Howe, the Magpies have beaten practically everyone in this league. And thumped a lot of them too. Lads, if you discount Ipswich and Liverpool, as they're the only 2 sides Newcastle have not beaten under Howe, if I were to pick Newcastle's biggest win over each club inside the last 2 years, then the aggregate score would be Newcastle United 60, everyone else 9. A trophy win is building. Oh wow, that is gonna be wild. Nottingham Forest, Nuno Santo won't be sacked. Yeah, Nuno Santo is probably one of the favourites for the sack this season, right? But I actually think Nottingham Forest will be very safe and secure. No, he'll still be here in May. Southampton will break youngest ever Prem goal scorer record. It seems crazy to think the Premier League has not had a youngest goal scorer record for 19 years. I mean, for a few years there. Just like the couple of years where we had 9-0 scorelines on a regular basis. It seemed like 16-year-olds were regularly scoring in the Prem. Both Rooney and Milner did that in 2002, just 2 months apart. And then James Vaughan broke the record for Everton in 2005. But none since then. Why? We are due another 16-year-old to score in this league. And what better club to predict than the academy at Southampton? I'm going to say Harrison Miles, an absolute 16-year-old rock star midfielder who is apparently in talks with Man City. But I reckon he stays with the Saints, and in a bid to desperately keep this wonder kid at the club, Russell Martin will be under pressure to squeeze him into the team. And so yes, this fella, born in July 2008. Guys, I vividly remember what I was doing when this kid was born. I reckon he breaks the record of 16 years and 270 days. He has until April 24th, 2025 to make his Southampton debut and score. And you know what? I'm backing him to do just that. Come on, Miles! If that actually comes off, then I'm sorry, but give me a crown. Tottenham will win at the Emirates. Yeah, lads, this is where Arsenal standards fall off after 2 mentally exhausting title challenges. And lads, in these flat third seasons, anything goes. I mean, after 2 exhausting title challenges under Klopp, Liverpool were then letting in 7 at Villa Park. I know Tottenham have not won a Premier League match at the Emirates since November 2010, but I'm telling you, in January 2025, nearly 15 years later, a 3-1 Spurs win is on its way. West Ham, Somerville will win the Golden Boot. This seems absolutely nutty. And it's probably one of the crazy shouts in the list. But lads, Erling Haaland cannot win the Golden Boot 3 seasons on the bounce. He just can't. Nobody has won the Premier League Golden Boot 3 times in a row since Thierry Henry. And I'm sorry, as good as he is, Haaland is not peak mid-2000s Henry. I know Haaland's strike rate is sickening. 63 goals in 66 Premier League matches is crazy. But I think he'll pick up a 3-month injury, opening the door for anyone to snatch the Golden Boot. And I think Somerville is special. He already looked like he had a poacher's instinct the last time Leeds were in the league. But now his confidence is sky high. Championship player of the season after 19 goals from the wing. And now, after a £24 million switch to West Ham, this 22-year-old Dutch winger is going to shock the world. I reckon he explodes with a bunch of strikes from the wing. He'll even wrestle himself onto penalty duty after Halloween. I think he's going to be under Julian Lopetegui what Cole Palmer was under Pochettino. He is going to be the absolute story of the season. And it's a big if, but if he gets lucky with an Haaland injury, I reckon in a complete absence of other goal machines, I think he takes the prize with another 19 goals. Wolves, Gary Neal will be sacked. Well, this is obvious, isn't it? Anyway, guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments what's going to happen. Let me know in the comments. Am I crazy? Am I not? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, please. I'll talk to you in a while.